Hello everybody, what's up? It's your girl B Sparrow, BuzzzTweet Talk Radio. How y'all doing today? I am doing just fine. I am thankful to be amongst the living, and if you are within the sound of my voice, I'm thankful to the Most High that you are amongst the living too. I'm going to thank you all for sliding by April Showers Network. Yesterday I was on her panel and we did a lot of talking about, what did we talk about? Ricky Smiley. Everyone is talking about Ricky Smiley. Well, I'm not in the celebrity news this morning. I'm talking about this white former detective accused of preying on black women. Not praying as in P-R-A-Y-I-N-G, praying to the Lord, but P-R-E-Y-I-N-G as in praying, searching, seeking. You know what I'm saying. He was preying on black women in Kansas. Well, he was found dead right before the trial. We're going to talk about it. But y'all know me. I got to go fetch my article. And for those who know, well, you know.
BeeSparrow, 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 BeeSparrow. Yo, dog, it's BeeSparrow. Like, share, and subscribe. This release is gonna bring it live. Information, world news, current events, the source. Accurate as a fingerprint. A cool sister, a force for the people. Attacking real enemies, strategy that's lethal. There will be no sequels, so get your tickets. A cool place for you to sit back and kick it, or get evicted. Dialogue till we get to the bottom of it. We can agree to disagree, hate it or love it. Either way, she's sitting and talking like an arrow. Introducing ladies and gentlemen, BeeSparrow.
So y'all got y'all coffee or whatever, because it is early, 9:15 a.m. On this Wednesday, January 8th. We just got past the reunion of the insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th. What, 4 years? It happened in 2021? 4 years. So a white ex-Kansas police detective accused of sexually assaulting black women and girls and terrorizing those who tried to fight back. He died on Monday from a gunshot wound at his trial, as his trial was set to begin. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation said in a statement that there are no indications of foul play in the death of Roger Golubski. Police in Golubski's hometown in Edwardsville, outside of Kansas City, Kansas, found Golubski, who was 71, unalive on his back porch after an area resident reported hearing a gunshot, authorities said. Law enforcement set up a crime scene outside of Golubski's home. That's what CBS-affiliated KCTV reported, and I'm reading this article from CBS News. Prosecutors say that for years, female residents of poor neighborhoods in Kansas City, Kansas, feared that if they crossed paths with Golubski, he'd demand sexual favors and threaten to harm or jail their relatives. Wow, how did he get away with this? How did he get away with this for so long? Wow, we're going to find out. Let me continue.
What is up, y'all? You're listening to BeeSparrow on BuzzzTweet Talk Radio.
Golubski was facing 6 felony counts of violating women's civil rights, but he did not appear in court for the start of jury selection. Prosecutors later confirmed in court that Golubski had died. His attorney, Christopher Joseph, said that his client was despondent about media coverage. He did not elaborate on what that meant, because I don't understand what it means either. U.S. District Judge Toby Krause dismissed the case against Golubski at prosecutors' request. Joseph called the death truly unexpected. I don't know the details, he told reporters as he walked away from the courtroom where jury selection had been set to begin. The case has outraged the community and deepened the historical distrust of law enforcement. The prosecution follows earlier reports of similar abuse allegations across the country, where hundreds of officers have lost their badges after allegations of sexual assault, or SA. Oops. Golubsky was accused of SAing one woman starting when she was barely a teenager, and another after her sons were arrested. Wow, dude. So he waited until this woman's sons were arrested before he made his move on this lady. About 50 people rallied outside the federal courthouse in freezing temperatures to show their support for women who said they were victimized by Golubsky. They held signs that said, "Justice now." The trial is the latest in a string of lawsuits and criminal allegations that had led the country. Okay, let me start over because the trial is the latest in a string of lawsuits and criminal allegations that has led the country prosecutor's office to begin a $1.7 million effort to re-examine cases Golubsky worked on during his 35-year on the force. One double murder case Golubsky investigated already has resulted in an exoneration, and an organization run by rapper Jay-Z is suing to obtain police records. Ooh, what does Jay-Z have to do with this? Let me read that again. The trial is the latest in a string of lawsuits and criminal allegations that has led the country or the county prosecutor's office to begin a $1.7 million effort to re-examine cases Golubsky worked on during his 35 years on the force. One double murder case Golubsky investigated already has resulted in an exoneration, and an organization run by rapper Jay-Z is suing to obtain records. Wow. Golubsky had pleaded not guilty, and his attorney said that the allegations were an inspiration for fabrication by his accusers, but prosecutors said that along with the two women whose accounts are the heart of the criminal case, 7 others were going to testify that Golubsky abused or harassed them. Jamaica Hobbs said every time she turned around, she's just looking over her shoulders. She filed a separate lawsuit against Golubsky and was not going to be a witness in the trial. Her lawsuit says she was groomed to be one of Golubsky's girls and submitted to sexual advances, fearing that he would bust her for drugs. I'm thinking somebody is after me. I have no peace at all, she says. Wow. If this don't sound like some in the heat of the night bull crap, if this don't sound like some NCIS, if this don't sound like some Law and Order Ice-T got pulled over by the police officer. Anyway, fellow officers once revered Golubsky for his ability to clear cases, and he rose to the rank. He rose to the rank of captain in Kansas City before retiring there in 2010, and then working on suburban police force for 6 more years. Worked on a suburban police force for 6 more years. His former partner served as a stint police officer. His former partner served a stint as police officer. Prior to his death, Golubsky had been under house arrest and undergoing kidney dialysis treatments 3 times a week. Joseph said in a statement that some of the allegations against Golubsky are 20 to 30 years old, adding, in public filings, the prosecution has acknowledged that the verdict will turn entirely on the accuser's credibility. But Jim McCloskey, founder of Centurion, a New Jersey nonprofit working to free innocent people, described Gillespie in a court hearing as the dirtiest cop I've ever encountered. Stories about Gillespie remain just whispers in the neighborhoods near Kansas City's former cattle stock yards, partly because of the extreme poverty of a place where some homes are boarded up. One neighborhood where Gillespie worked is part of Kansas's second poorest zip code. So he was taking advantage of poor people. Crime was abundant there, as were drug dealers and prostitutes, said Max Seifert, a former Kansas City police officer who graduated from the police academy with Gillespie in 1975. And Mr. Max, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, Seifert, but that's what it looked like to me. Seifert said police misconduct was tolerated in the department. He described how informants and Gillespie's ex-wife complained that Gillespie was soliciting prostitutes. Gillespie was caught having sex with a woman in his office. It's kind of like boys will be boys type of thing. Kind of like a boys will be boys type of thing, said Seifert, who was forced into early retirement for refusing to conceal a motorist beating by a federal agent in 2003. So he was forced to retire after he wouldn't shut up about a motorist beating by a motorist being beat by a federal agent. He refused to be quiet, and so he was forced into early retirement. McCloskey said in an interview that Gillespie had women at his mercy. The inquiry into Gillespie stems from the case of Lamonte McIntyre, who started writing to McCloskey's nonprofits nearly 2 years ago. McIntyre was just 17 in 94 when he was arrested and charged in connection with a double homicide within hours of the crimes. He had an alibi. No physical evidence linked him to the killings, and an eyewitness believed the killing was an underling of a local drug dealer. Gillespie and the dealer have since been charged in a separate federal case of running a violent sex trafficking operation. Oh, that's popular these days, sex trafficking. The eyewitness only testified that McIntyre was the killer after Gillespie and a now disbarred attorney threatened to take their children away. She threatened to take her children away. She alleged in the lawsuit, I will spend the rest of my life being happy. I want to spend the rest of my life being happy, McIntyre told CBS News in 2018 after being released from prison. I don't want to be bitter. That's taken away from me. I don't want to have any more time to give. McIntyre's mother said in 2014, in a 2014 affidavit, that she wonders whether her refusal to grant regular sexual favors to Gillespie prompted her to retaliate against her son, prompted him to retaliate. There is plenty more on this article. I'm going to have to do a part 2, so stay tuned for that. I'm BeeSparrow, BuzzzTweet Talk Radio. We're going to come back and talk about Mr. What's his name? Later on today, I'm going to do another video on Roger Gillespie, an ex-Kansas police detective accused of SAing black women and girls and terrorizing those who try to fight back. Well, he was found unalive with gunshot wounds. Somebody got to him. We're going to find out what the rest of this article says later on. This is part 1. But me, I'm BeeSparrow. And y'all, when y'all get a chance, do me a favor and holler at your girl. Okay? Well, okay.
BeeSparrow, 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 BeeSparrow. Yo, dog, it's BeeSparrow. Like, share, and subscribe. This belief is gonna bring it live. Information, world news, current events, the source. Accurate as a fingerprint. A cool sister, a force for the people. Attacking real enemies, strategy that's lethal. There will be no sequels, so get your tickets. A cool place for you to sit back and kick it, or get evicted. Dialogue till we get to the bottom of it. We can agree to disagree, hate it or love it. Either way, she's sitting and talking like an arrow. Introducing Sparrow.